Hello guys and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is Automatic Jack and this is the Horus Heresy Legions Death Guard campaign. I'm a big fan of Legions. I really like the game a lot. I've been playing it for about 6 or 7 months now. I noticed there was not a ton of Legions content on YouTube. There are some great creators out there, but you know, when you have a game that you really like, it is always nice to bring it to the attention of as many people as possible. So I figure the 2 or 3 of you who will watch this throughout the next 3 decades will be doing just that little bit more to bring this game to a wider audience. So without further ado, let's dive into this Death Guard campaign and see what these
It's time to
slimy,
taste Terran soil, brothers,
pustule-covered Space Marines have to offer us. Starting off fighting the Blood Angels. Alright, well this system was just recently introduced to the game. Some warlords have missions now where you fulfill their requirements and you get rewarded with an extremely powerful card. I believe for the Death Guard, that card lets you give +2/+2 poisonous to Death Guard troops you put in play, and it costs 1 energy, which is very strong. We are going to mulligan away our high energy cost card.
To slay you, demon. I am no demon, not yet.
And we'll start off printing out his warlord power. Our Morarch here can print these Melton squads, which are pretty decently strong. Don't do much for hitting power, but they do more than enough for staying power, keeping troops on the board. Alright, as usual, we always want to stop the Blood Angels from landing if we can. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we will just knock his squad right out and get our ability going. So now any turn that we start with a poisonous troop on the board counts down this number. When it gets to 0, we get a 1 energy cost card that will hugely buff. It's either +2/+2 or +3/+3. Hugely buff any Death Guard troops that we put on. I think it is actually +2/+2. Okay, so Zagart Veterans is a great option for us here for turns, so we're just going to knock Ascalon or whoever this is down. Yep, Ascalon. And pop him up to a 4/4 front line and swing for the face. If you're familiar with the campaigns, the AI, especially in the early stages, is usually not powerful. I say this as the AI chooses a pretty decent option there. Usually not too terribly powerful. Usually it's pretty easy to overcome. So we're going to get our front line back up. And these gentlemen print out chem munitions. A chem munition is a 1 energy cost buff that raises your troop by +1/+1 and gives it poison. Pretty sweet. Okay, so we got our options here. None of which are absolutely phenomenal, but how much? Ooh, he has 4/5 on that guy. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. Alright, we will probably need to poison him, which is unfortunate, because there is not a super easy way to do that. Well, I take that back. Can always chem munition our troop there. We are going to lose the front line. He is going to be able to swing us 1 to the face, but that's okay. Oh, you know, actually, we don't have to hit him. We can. Oh, he has unstoppable disregard. He's going to be able to hit us regardless. Might as well poison him. Our trooper stays on the board because of the action of chem munition there, raising his hit points by 1. He takes a crack at our face, but it's not enough. And we have 4, 6, 8 on the board, plus chem munition is 9. More than enough. We'll reward that Melton squad with an extra point and down to the face. Alright. So, Favorite of Nurgle is a pretty outstanding buff. Comes with some decent card art, but it is expensive at 5, and Marks of Chaos are kind of random. We are very unlikely to get high enough up in turns where we're going to need a full cost Father Decay, much less be able to really use it for its ability, which is to spam out troops. In my experience, by the end of these games, you are likely going to have a pretty big board regardless. Father Decay can be something to reverse an empty board. Don't love it. Plague Marine I do love, especially with buffs. Plague Marine, when you can get his attack up a little bit, he becomes much scarier. And Captain Holgorg is fantastic for that. 204th cohort, I think, is kind of garbagey. The real benefit of Las Rifle section is the ping that they get. Otherwise, I mean, Righteous Zealot is pretty garbagey in this deck. Cyrek is okay. Drek 9 is okay. Actually, we'll keep it on theme. I almost instantly regret that.
Gate by gate, we must press the advantage.
Really, really wants to give us Spectre of Death as our first card. We really, really don't want it.
Force
Oh, good
them out
old
of their
Ignatius
walls.
Grolgor. There he is.
We fight for the future.
For those of you who are maybe not familiar with the lore, Grolgor was a captain in the Death Guard back before they were corrupted into Nurglite demons. And he essentially died to a Three Stooges-esque pratfall when a serf shot the gun that was in his hand, and I think he fired a round that then cracked a virus bomb open and was locked in the hold, being melted by the Life Eater virus. A hilarious way to go for a Death Guard. Then he was brought back, as so many Death Guard are, and now is in my hand for 7 energy. Poisonous 5/7 who can put in play a Battle Flies, which is an unstoppable, I think it's a 2/6, also poisonous. Pretty reasonable demon, although it has maintenance, as all non-Ruin Storm demons do. Once again, that's not doing anything for us. We're just going to keep printing off Melton Squads. We don't really have a way to make poison here, so we'll just keep adding in little face damage. Constantine can put out some impressively thick troops. That is one of them, especially when it gives your warlord even more. That is not great. We want to definitely get that off the board as soon as humanly possible. We would love it if we had no other troops with which to gain poisonous, but we unfortunately do. So we're just going to put out our 5/5 here. Poison this guy. Yep. And swing for the face once more. I despise Constantine Valdor when I'm forced to play against him when he's played by a human being. He's a very frightening warlord. I generally main Korvax Utterblight, and honestly I don't know in the meta. I'm a Low Terra player. I don't know really the high-end metas. I don't know whether that's a good matchup, but it sure does not seem like a great matchup for Korvax from my experience. Poor Korvax gets pooped on by Constantine relatively often. Alright, and now we just finish him off. And that's that. We have absolutely no need to remove poison, so this is basically a +1/+1 for 2. Not awesome. Imperial Reaper, we're probably not getting to turn 9 to use it. Doesn't seem great. Goldstone's Hunters is by far the best card in that selection for us right now. Apotheosis is a solid card, but we're not getting that far. We're just going to take more fast bikes. We want to get these over with. We like the Jam. Jam is pretty good. And Osgarg is a decent 5-drop. Not great, not terrible. 3.6 run gun.
I will not be able to hold the line much longer.
And fighting the King of the Blood Angels, Raldoran. If you're not familiar with Blood Angels, Raldoran is very, very solid Blood Angel Warlord. We're going to mulligan one of these and see if we ha, and see if we can draw.
Resist, brothers.
Yes.
We never retreat.
Yes.
It is
Beautiful.
by our sacrifice that humanity is strengthened.
Want to get some frontline out. This guy is one of the best cards, in my opinion, in this early deck, because he can create more chem munitions for you. This deck does not have a lot of draw. The chem munitions give you some flexibility. They make a troop poisonous, so they keep your Chosen of Nurgle mission rolling. Chem munition is a very solid option. Let us throw out our Chosen of Nurgle. We got 2 to play with here. We will toss down chem munition generator so we can start getting some poison troops on the board. And we will end our turn, so Raldoron doesn't have anybody to ping off. Okie dokie. So now we got our first chem munition. That is excellent. That is very good news for us. We're going to drop out another Melton squad here. We will get another... Do we want another Sorag Bikes up? No, we actually want to get some Poisonous up. We'll do it that way. We will knock off his drop pod. That's pretty attractive. And we'll just leave it like that. This way he does not have much in terms of great options here. Yeah, he can take off a Melton squad, which does nothing for him. Now we're starting to count down that mission goal. +1/+1 and poisonous to adjacent troops is pretty decent, but unfortunately we don't have good adjacency with which to take advantage of that. So we're just going to go ahead and poison up our counterpart over here. We will swing with our face to keep a poisonous troop on the board. And we will... Oh, that was a bad move. I should not have done that, because now Raldoron can ping that guy off and make his troops better. Yes, indeed. Yep, that was a bad mistake. Learn from my failures. At least we continue to count down our mission. That's something good. Okay, 0-2 to a friendly troop is great to buff that squad back up a little bit. But instead, we can probably just... We could Sorag Bikes chem munition this guy. He's gonna hit the front line with him anyway, so it's gonna poison him regardless, so we probably don't need to bother with that. We can Sorag Bikes, Melton squad, and chem munition the other Melton squad. Now we have 2 poisonous front lines. Poisonous front lines are brutal, because it just means that the enemy is going to have to kill any troop that he wants to throw at him. Like that. He sacrifices a very valuable troop to kill a practically free troop. This is where we would love to have our chem munition printer still on the board, because if he was there, we would be made in the shade. Alright, so we have lethal on the board, so we just swing to the face. Off to the next round. Survivor 2, these are not great. I typically prefer the cheaper troops or more cards. Cheaper troops and more cards are both very, very good. This Hydra Arsenal seems like a straight upgrade to Esoteric Markings. If tactics are going to cost 1 more, you get the same effect by having them have 1 less energy all across the board for all their turns. So it's really down to me between Hydra Arsenal. Unless I'm missing something there, I think that Hydra Arsenal is straight out better than Esoteric Markings. I suppose it is possible. No, I maintain that. Hydra Arsenal is straight up better. I am going to take this to try to just stay ahead of him on curve. higher you can stay up on curve, generally the better you're doing. Light Grenade is a pretty solid choice, especially because I have a feeling that there are probably White Scars in this coming lineup. Yeah, Defensive Maneuver is phenomenal. We definitely need card draw, so yes, no question, we absolutely want that one.
I see engines of war approaching our position.
Engines of War. Again, if you're actually watching this, I don't know how you found it, but nice work. I appreciate it. This is my first ever YouTube video. I've been playing games for a... Thank you, Tank. Playing games for a very long time. Never really felt the urge to stream or record, but when I have a game like this that I really, really like, wish more people played, figured I'm going to play it anyway. I might as well share some video of it for those of you who might be interested in getting into a fun new game. This tank has a siege ability. 4 damage to an enemy. If the target dies, it can act again. Frightening. Frightening. We're going to get our Chosen of Miracle. We're going to try to lure him into blasting one of our Melton squads instead of our face. We're going to see if that works. That works on the AI sometimes. Yeah, it's not always right. Okay. We can flank that right off the board with our old Flakmas. It's Christmas, but for flak. Kind of like that. Kind of like just flanking him off the board. And the other option is Sorag Bikes. Actually, Sorag Bikes, this guy hits here. Yeah, this is actually a hit better because this way we get another Melton squad. We can hit one to the face. And we're just trying to build up a big board. We want lots of HP on this board because we're going to get more and more and more abilities to buff these troops. We have no anti-stealth. Unfortunately, it is just not the way it goes. Okay, so speaking of abilities here, do I get greedy is the question. Do I drop another... If I had a 3-drop, I would 3-drop and Melton Squad. Instead, I'm just going to poison these. Once again, Poisonous Frontline is brutal. Poisonous Frontline is really tough. And we'll just leave them there. We'll leave the points on our... leave the points on our frontliners. And that's good too, because it counts down our mission. Our mission is finally starting to get a little bit better. We like our Plague Elites. We like poisoning an enemy troop. We've got a lot of good options. The card art on these seems extremely familiar. I can't keep all these rivets and plates separate. Get a Mark of Corn on him. That is not bad. We'll throw out another Melton Squad. We're going to... I think swing to the face here. Poison the Vexillarius. Vexillarius, one of my favorite Solar Auxilia troops. Like him a lot. Very powerful in a Lucretia deck where troops are already cheap. Some of you, if you follow this game, you may hate me for playing Lucretia in the first place. I understand. Lucretia is awesome. I love her. I know she is highly cancerous, but she is less cancerous now that they changed her ability. She used to give -1 cost to all troops. Now it is infantry. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and poison the big guy over there. Put another Melton Squad in play. And just blast him in the face here. Might as well. We could probably poison her as well. So we have so many frontliners. Our ability to put up a pretty significant frontline. Speaking of so many frontliners, there comes Horus on the barge. He swings and misses though. He really only gets one very high quality front line. That is not going to avail him very much. Alright, so we'll throw out that Melton squad. Get these boys in between. Unfortunately, we're just not quite there. We will have to swing with the 6-6. We would love to go to face, but we can't. So instead, we're going to take out his actual harder hitters here. Get that guy off the board before he starts throwing random damage around, and now he's just stuck with 2 non-attackable bunkers. And a Katsuhiro. Katsuhiro's pretty dangerous here behind 2 front lines. What did he just snipe? He got the Asgard squad off. Okay, well. I will survive somehow. Okay, destroy an enemy and poison adjacent. Yeah, it's pretty slow. It is pretty slow. I think we, unfortunately, don't want to lose this guy to just slamming him into the 5-5 here. We'll go ahead and take some of those bunkers out. Take them out the easy way. We'll save our little Mark of Corn 4-1 here, possibly, or he'll just be called it. Wow. Or he'll just be a target for a mortar. This level is ridiculous. Too much frontline on both sides. Too much frontline. Katsuhiro decides to poison himself. That was very nice of him. I appreciate that. Just did not want to live anymore. Alright, so now we can flank one of our boys off the board here. Get our Plague Elite out. Easy peasy. We will knock out the Hunan's mortars. We will swing to the face. I probably had lethal there and was not paying attention. In fact, I did have lethal there and was not paying attention. Oh well, you live and learn. One more turn. You'll just enjoy the sight of this tank blasting away at our Death Guard. It takes a tank shell, at least, to kill your average Death Guard. Okay. Oh, and we get to see Heralded Pestilence. Alright, so it is +2/+2 and poisonous to Death Guard troops. Any Death Guard troops. I believe vehicles included. It doesn't say infantry Astartes, so any Death Guard troops that come out from after you play this card get a +2/+2, which includes, just I'll show it to you, it includes your Melton squads. So for 2 energy, you get a 3/6 frontline poison. Absolutely brutal. Takes a while to come out. But very We love the chem munitions. We don't really care about Son of Barbarous at all. We don't care about removing poison at all. 3 damage to all enemies is pretty good. 8 is a long way to wait to get it, but... And even more frontline, God help us. Not exactly what we're looking for here. We do not have enough Mechindrites out of these 2 cards to make Zagreus Cain worthwhile. Each is just going to generate 1 Mechindrite, so you could potentially get 2 buffs on him. That's not very good. So I think we're going to take... We're going to take this for the chem munition and just to have cheap troops. Flooding the board with lots of decently high
These brutes
health.
keep coming for us. We must hold.
Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Alright. Jangsai Khan. Who are you, Jangsai Khan? Figured there would be some white scars. Love the rally on Geldurk. That's a good starter. Don't need Captain Holgorg yet. Although, you know, honestly, maybe it is worth holding on to. I wouldn't hold on to it against a player. It's too slow. But against an AI and one that's been slowed down by 1 point, I think this actually could be worth it. Because getting him out there,
You're
getting
nothing but
poisonous
savages
bloodlines.
on motorcycles.
Come then, you turgid filth.
Did he say... He didn't say putrid. The text said putrid. He didn't say putrid. Did he say turgid? Got confused and aroused. Alright, so our Meltons, or yeah, our big Melton drops are gonna be pretty good there. Here I think we just chosen a Nurgle and get more big squads out, because this guy's doing nothing for him. What does a 1/1 do? Yeah, takes one guy out, lowers itself a point. Now his board state is exactly the same. No good. Okay. Here, a Plague Marine is strong, especially because this guy is not doing much other than creating more of these little scout squads, which are not very good. So we can just do that and leave it. Once again, wasn't paying good attention to positioning. Should have put this guy next to this guy so that Holgorg could buff them both. However, instead we can simply do our discount a host of angels, getting 3 Melton squads in play. Blast him with our Plague Marine, who is going to heal anyway. If he stays on the board, which he is going to. And there he is. Unfortunately, once again, we're in trouble with positioning. Oh, guys, it's not good. It's not good. You have to be better at this game than I am, because we have no space over here to put out our Holgorg. We're just going to rally up. Unfortunately, here we're really, actually, we're probably going to have to go ahead and flank there. Let's see if he can be tempted into killing one of these. Good God. Oh, and he is. That was convenient. Now he's going to kill the other one. Alright. Alright. Good enough. Good enough. Our Plague Marine will heal back up. Holgorg will come out here. Which doesn't really help us quite as much as I was hoping he would. Yeah. Not loving it, honestly. Maybe we will instead... There we go. Alright, now we can Holgorg these guys. They become monsters. 3/7 Poisonous Plague Marine. We can sacrifice our speeder here. We'll keep the Plague Marine on the board. I don't want to put the Plague Marine within range, because otherwise he's going to keep ticking down my 5-count mission timer. Holgorg is going to righteously sacrifice himself. Actually, he doesn't need to. He could probably just swing for the face. Yeah. Yeah, we'll actually buff him up. Get ourselves another Melton squad. Poison this guy. And then swing for the face. Yeah, seems good. Seems good. And we got so much front line on the board right now, we don't need to keep this guy at peak condition. He spent so much getting his macro tech up there that he was not able to do much else. Doesn't do much to give shield to your vehicles when you have no vehicles. That is a pro tip directly from me. We don't really need more troops. We got Spectre of Death. We might as well just take this guy off. And it doesn't matter anyway because we are at lethal. If you guys have not played with the new White Scars, I recommend you check it out. They have added a streak mechanic, which is the same as combo from Hearthstone. You play a card with streak as the second or later card in a single turn, and it activates extra powers, and it is pretty frightening. We don't have enough vehicles to make this consistent, although we do have those speeders. Ursarax is merely okay. Again, we don't have a ton of vehicles, and we don't need a ton of frontline. We really, though, do not need much in terms of removing poison from units. Stunning enemies, drawing cards, all quite good. Tough to say. Tough to say. Honestly, I'm not sure here. If you have an opinion on what I should be doing here, I would love to hear it. I'm not phenomenal at this. It's one of the things that makes me not so great at events. I would love to hear what you think the best options are. I'm going to go with Mortarian's Resolve for the card draw if I end up late in the game with not many cards in my hand.
If there is a chance to end the card, we must take it.
Just to dump the hand and get new cards. Okay. Good enough to start with.
Look on me now and know your slave.
You are not welcome to our world of rot.
Just print out some troops here. I don't really need to worry about surviving these Melton squads because the best survivor is just making another Melton squad. I don't have any opportunity to get poisoned next, so I'm just going to take the Survivor 1 on my Warlord. There we go. Comes out with a troop that does absolutely nothing. A bold strategy. See if that pays off for him. And now my two real options here are to smack this off, get my Demeter squad, or get my Chosen Nurgle up and rally up this Melton squad into a bigger one, or to Demeter squad, hit him in the face and Chosen Nurgle and just burn 1 energy. I think it's better to get more troops on the board that have a little bit more hitting power. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Get Chosen Nurgle up. And we'll go ahead and take that off. He has his sneak attack, but that's very slow. And it only saves him one damage. It's not really 2 energy to save 1 damage from yourself is, in my opinion, a not very good use of energy. Okay, now again we have time. Now we can start printing chem munitions. We can start making things poisonous. We can start buffing them. All this is very good, and we can hit the con in the face. We really want those chem munitions as fast as possible. That's fine. That is fine. He's going to print a chem munition. We're going to use it here. We're going to take it. Very good, very good. And we'll get a Mortuk squad up. Actually, our speeder could take him off the board. Yeah, our speeder could take him off the board and stay on the board. That's probably better. We'll have speeder wars there. We're going to chem munition this guy, make him tougher, keep him on there, and we're just going to leave what we got. I don't really see a need to be swinging away our health. Having lots of health on the board is one of the things that makes this faction scary. Yeah, best he can do is knock off a Melton squad that does very little more. Okay, perfect. So it would have made no difference swinging in the face one way or the other. It just would have swung at something else. Alright, there's our chem munition again. Can drop our speeder over here. Get our mortar squad up. Get himself a Mark of Nurgle, which is great for us. More poison on the board. Outstanding. And we will make our front line poisonous. Because as we know, poisonous front line, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So as we were mentioning earlier, not a lot of draw on the deck. We're running a little low on gas. Not critically, but a little bit low. He just sacrifices a card straight into that frontline Melton squad. No good, no good. We'll take our 2/3/3 front lines. I've never actually played that card. It's not a very good card in my opinion. But more poison's always good. Start swinging to faces. You can actually swing to face with this one, because why not? Let's get a little more damage on him. Okay, get the Sorag bikes out there for their fast. Get this for free to knock off that gentleman. And honestly, we're going to just drop our 5/5 here because he's a big body. Don't really care. Yeah, okay. Remove poison from a guy who does not have poison. Pretty solid. We'll start swinging for the face again. We're 2 turns out on having an extremely powerful buff. All the big speeders in the world are not going to do it for you. He has to hit our front line here. He does not have unstoppable. He poisons himself in doing so. Or just straight out kills himself. Okay, so we'll throw out our first wave here. Awesome. Get some poison up on those guys. And do a little more face. We don't probably really need to keep this guy on the board anymore. I mean, he's nice to print chem munitions, but we have had enough. We've had enough poison that we're probably going to be all right. Although I say that and realize now that we just had 1 more poison unit, so hopefully he can't kill this 2/5. And he can, but he chooses not to. Serious failure on the AI's part. Serious failure on my AI's part as well. Okay, beautiful, beautiful options here. Defensive Maneuver and Herald of Pestilence. We love both. Let's throw down that Herald. Let's Defensive Maneuver. Draw way back up. Well, not way back up, but still, back up. And get some big, scary stuff in play. Make all of our troops gigantic and poisonous. And this should be, if not the game, then at least extremely close to the game. Yep, extremely close.
This is a place of honor.
Not for long, it's not. Can nail me for 3 sneak attack all he wants to. It's not going to avail him much. He just poisons his speeder off, and that's that. And there it is. Alright, guys. Hey, I appreciate anybody who took the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have suggestions, comments, I would love to hear them. Again, this is the first time I have ever published a video to YouTube, so any feedback is welcome. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you did not enjoy the video, leave a new hidden dislike. Haha, I'll report how many dislikes are gotten. God, I shouldn't invite that. Forget it, I won't. It's all going to be a secret. But I would love to hear from you. I'd love it if you check out Horus Heresy Legions. It's available on Android and on Steam. It is a free game, and unlike a lot of games, I think that you can get very far with just free cards. I've spent very, very little on this game and have made it into Terra, have a pretty significant collection of cards, have had months and months of fun with it. It is definitely worth checking out. All right, I'm Automatic Jack, signing off. See you next time.